Company every Friday, along with some of Namibia's biggest artists right here on this platform.
Today on One Always There. Today on One, your daily dose of local affairs and social media commentary. Today on One, law enforcement illegally occupy government flats. Swartboy evicted by own sister. Providing potable water to Katima residents still to be decided. And media ombudsman welcomes media trade union.
The Ministry of Works and Transport Fixed Asset Management Department says it is troubled by illegal government flat occupants who do not follow the correct procedures and break into government flats to occupy them. The department's deputy director says majority of cases are that of NDF and the Namibian police. This comes after the ministry recently had to evict an illegal occupant who was misinformed that there was a vacant government flat when the flat in question was indeed allocated to another government employee who is in the process of renovating the flat before occupying it. According to the ministry spokesperson, the evictee did not follow the correct procedures nor consulted with their superiors when she occupied the flat.
That list is even dropped because it was around 30-something last year. And those are the people who are breaking in, and most of the majority is coming from the police and NDF. So the people working under those two ministries, they are giving us headache, but we expected them to be the one who are leading by example, because if a police officer is coming now and breaking into a flat, they know very well the consequences. But regardless of that, they don't seem to be interested on the consequences. Because if you look down, even at the same flat here, I think it was just June, there was another police officer. And she's even working at charge office. And she broke into a flat where she broke the sliding door, the glass of which all, she broke it up. And that flat was reserved for the driver, for our minister. Mr. Mutora's driver was the one to enter into that flat. That lady came at the back while they were just busy doing renovation, the same as this one, because first they want to do a retouch before anybody moves in. And that person was just busy doing small renovation, and that is when they broke in. They broke it to the extent that you have to remove all of it and replace it completely. And those challenges, we go to the government attorney to report cases. But when you go to the government attorney, they come and ask many questions. You give to them, give us a proof that that property belongs to the government. You give a copy of a title deed, and you expect them to go to the Master Fire Court so that you can get an eviction order. But that part is the one which is taking long. And people now believe that since there is no much action, my friend did it, why can't I do it? And that is what brings the whole problem. Yeah.
According to the evictee, she had no knowledge that the flat had already been allocated to someone else, adding that she had been applying for a government flat since 2017, only to be put on the waiting list. Katutura Central Constituency Councillor who came to the defense of the evictee says there was no fairness in the application process.
There's no one who's disputing that there is an illegal occupant that she went into the house illegally. Based on the pressure that she's saying she has been applying since 2017 and she found the place empty. But the way I was looking at it, people should consult. Consultation is very important to look at how much can we, how best can the matter be resolved through consultations. And I think somehow, somewhere, I feel there's some irregularities. I suspect some connection in the whole thing since yesterday. Where somehow, somewhere in the system, there's no fairness. How was she listed? Why she's already having an accommodation? And somebody who does not have accommodation since 2017 has been applying, a member of the force, and a woman that is vulnerable, single woman, have to be taken out. I think the procedures have to speak to itself.
The ministry's Fixed Asset Management Department is therefore warning public servants to put an end to the illegal occupying of government flats, as it has become a big challenge for the ministry.
Accommodation is the ability of the eye to focus on distant and near objects.
And I bring it in contact with the electroscope. What you must keep in mind is positive charge can't move. It is the negative charge that moves.
The first one, EF, is then going to be 0 minus -2 over 4 minus -4. Look at my signs. If you go wrong there, if you don't substitute in brackets, you're definitely going to get wrong answers.
The new All Seasons Moisture Body Lotion from Nivea Men. For 0% stickiness no matter how hot you are, and 100% moisture no matter how cool you are. Get deeply nourished, healthier looking skin. New Nivea Men All Seasons. 0% stickiness, 100% moisture. Nivea Men, it starts with you. Nivea Men All Seasons. Now available in a cream.
Magrita Swartboy and her family spent a night on the street after being evicted by her biological sister. The house located in Katatura, Soweto suburb was allocated to Mrs. Swartboy in 1981 by Bet El Primary School through the Windhoek municipality, but was somehow transferred over to her sister, Lucia Links, in 1982. Mrs. Swartboy says she has no memory of signing over her house and is suspecting forgery as she wasn't present when the deed of transfer was signed.
My wife was under no circumstances in Windhoek that time, because the same year, 25 of March 1982, she gave birth to a premature baby. And that baby was hospitalized for 1 month in Lutheran's hospital because the baby was in the incubator. So there was no way that you could have traveled to Windhoek to sign a letter. So when I was faced with that, I called Lutheran's hospital to confirm, and they were searching for the records, and the records has been found. But I am not allowed to get the records. I have to find a lawyer, and the lawyer must apply to receive the records. So the record is there. The record is there.
Upon receiving the house, Mrs. Swartboy accommodated her sister Lucia Links after she fell ill and has since paid all her expenses, including medical bills. Mrs. Swartboy says she cannot fathom why her sister would evict her in such a cruel manner.
My sister didn't suffer from an ordinary illness. She lost her mind and we gave her everything we had, and as a result we lost out because we had to look after her grandchildren. We took constant trips to Marienthal to fetch our mother and bring her here so she could look after her. We paid all her medical expenses and made daily visits to the hospital. Whenever we had a marriage or death in the family, it was up to us to pay for the expenses. All those things sent us down a spiral of financial difficulties.
Ons het baie gedoen vir my suster.
Among the evicted family is a young girl with special needs. Reasons as to why Lynx evicted this family during a regional lockdown with a strict curfew remains a Lynx refused to comment and referred today on one to her lawyer from Sikale and Associates, who said that all the documents which indicate that the house no longer belongs to Mr. Swartboy are legit, and assured us that no foul play was involved.
I'm Sam.
I'm also Sam.
Meet my little Sam. Only the best for my son.
No two people are the same, so why should their cover be? New personal cover from Old Mutual lets you build the cover that's right for you and your budget. The time is now to get personal cover that's just for you. SMS cover to 66522 today.
Katima Mulilo residents recently revealed that the town council is denying them clean water, leaving them with no choice but to make use of dirty water. In his response to the matter, the mayor of the town responded that the management still has to engage and find ways to provide the residents with water.
So what is fun enough is we said let's stop giving them water so that it expedites the process of them moving there quickly. But nevertheless, we saw what, because that chaos has been happening since Friday and Saturday. I've asked the governor to convene an urgent meeting with all 8 security clusters.
Katima Mulilo Mayor Charles Mutenga claims that the residents are using the water to build clay houses and the number of people on that land is just increasing uncontrollably.
What's going to happen, like I'm saying, it's going to be discussed. Because initially, like I was saying, when the state of emergency was declared, we have been giving people, all people in informal settlements, even those ones, they are land grabbers. So what we did, because of COVID, we don't choose to say land grabbers. We have been giving them water since March. Until after we saw that the number, most of the people have moved. In exception of those ones have been a bit resistant, but they've agreed to move. They are just bringing, a number of these individual questions. So for us, we thought, I was told last week the number is 15, but yesterday my officers told me, I don't know, it's around 30. They are just being resistant. So what, like I'm saying, tomorrow they will discuss it, because I've got a death in the family. I might not attend the MC, but I'll tell my deputy to make sure that let's revert to giving them water, but with a condition that they know they are supposed to move. And we don't want, once we start giving them water, then bring an issue to say, no, they were giving us water. That's why we're here. So I will advise my deputy mayor and other colleagues to know, let's continue giving them water, but they should know that they are in transit.
Matengu says that the residents have hidden agendas, adding that they were recently told to move to land that was made available to them, but are allegedly refusing to move. He noted that the land they currently occupy belongs to the town council.
What is happening there, that place called Luanyanda, that portion was given to a proper developer in 2013. Now, due to the bureaucracy of our system, the things were approved sometime last year, and early this year is on site. And on top of that, we had a dispute with the traditional authority concerning that very area there. But last year, sometime in September, that issue was resolved with the traditional authority, in which they agreed, because they had even hired a consultant, Dr. Mutumba. He confirmed and went to the Kuta there at Chinchimani, in front of the chief. We had 3 cabinet ministers there. Dr. Kawana, as Attorney General then, and Dr. Pia Mshilenga as Minister of Urban and Rural Development then, and Comrade Priscilla Boyce, the Deputy Minister from Land Reform. It was agreed that that area belonged to Town Council. So what we did, because those people were paying sort of an appreciation fee to the quota of 3,500. We said we are not to budget our quota with respect to our traditional authorities. We said the 3,500 will be like an advance payment to the plot where they are going to be relocated at Nova.
Matengu further claims that if the town council provides the residents with water, they will never move to the land allocated to them.
Scared of the cold? Don't let colds and flu get you down. Protect yourself with the all-new MVA Immune Booster from FabuFarm. A powerful daily food supplement with just the right balance of vitamins and minerals to help you strengthen your immune system. FabuFarm's MVA Immune Booster is made in accordance with COVID-19 guidelines and offers value for money with a full 30-day dosage. FabuFarm's MVA Immune Booster, now available at all leading pharmacies countrywide.
Did you know FabuFarm's MVA Immune Booster can be claimed from medical aids subject to fund rules and exclusions?
The Media Ombudsman John Nakuta has welcomed the establishment of an independent trade union that represents the interests of all media practitioners in Namibia.
The resources of this country are for the benefit of the citizens of this country. Now, our resources were used for the benefit of the Icelanders and their business partners.
Last year, the Namibian Press Agency also terminated the service contract of one of its freelance reporters, Vitalio Angula, after he participated at a panel discussion dealing with the fish rot scandal aired on One Africa television. According to the Media Ombudsman, upon receiving the complaint, he was unable to take action as the scope of his power is limited to media-generated content and not labor issues. For this reason, Nakuta welcomes the establishment of an independent body that protects the interests of journalists in labor disputes with their employers.
Journalists must really get together to organize themselves because the code has been drafted by the editors, and so obviously, and as I said, it deals with news content and not with any other thing outside that. I've also looked at, in terms of preparations, I've also looked at another document, and I wanted to see what the Windhoek Declaration says about the establishment of a union. And I've seen that the Windhoek Declaration also makes a very clear, in order to live up and attain the ideals, values and principles and commitments listed in the Windhoek Declaration. The declaration call on journalists, editors and publishers to organize themselves and to establish, once again, independent bodies that would be looking after their specific interests.
Journalist Edward Mumbu also recently found himself in a precarious position with his employer after he posed a question to the head of state related to the fish rot scandal during a recent COVID-19 press briefing at State House. Today on One sat down with Mumbu to discuss the importance of having a media trade union, which is currently in the process of being established.
If you look at other industries, you look at your lawyers, you look at your taxi drivers, you look at your mine workers, your teachers, and all these other professionals. They sort of organize themselves under different umbrellas to vouch for their issues and for their labor issues and all that. So for us as journalists, we realized that in recent times, constantly you realized the mistreatment of journalists. You would notice the treatment of our interns when they enter the industry, You look at the pay discrepancies, you realize that there's a journalist that's doing the same amount of work with another journalist, but if you look at the salary differences, sometimes even you look at their qualification and experience, it's the same, but for some reason you find a difference. We decided to look at ourselves and realize that, but why can't we stand up for ourselves as journalists when we are confronted by all these issues? If we don't stand up for ourselves, who do we expect to address these issues?
According to Mumbu, various media practitioners are currently planning to hold a conference in the capital where they will adopt a constitution to establish the structures of the first trade union serving the interests of journalists in Namibia. Mumbu said that the union will be an independent body and open to all media practitioners in the country.
Share with us on #LearnOn1. Tell us what you're learning and where you're learning it from. Send us your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081-200-6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better. In other leading stories, Finance Minister Honorable Ipumbu Shimi has announced the commencement of the Credit Guarantee Scheme for SMEs. The scheme will provide collateral cover of 60% for qualifying SMEs applying for finance from participating commercial finance institutions. The rationale behind the Credit Guarantee Scheme is that they are SMEs with excellent prospects for success and viable business plans, but lacking the necessary collateral to obtain loans. Commercial finance institutions require the security of collateral to ensure that their capital is preserved in the event of an SME being unable to repay their loans. By ensuring credit granted to qualifying SMEs, the scheme substantially reduces the collateral requirement for qualifying SMEs. Shimi says it would be a smart partnership between the Development Bank of Namibia, Namibia Special Risks Insurance Association, and participating financial institutions. The smart partnership will be funded with 98 million Namibia dollar seed capital from the government of the Republic of Namibia and the Bank of Namibia. Shimi encouraged SMEs to make good use of the facility, to be innovative, and to take a long-term view of their business while focusing on the set key business objectives. And the Namibian government renewed its efforts in containing the Hepatitis E virus, which was declared as an outbreak since the 14th of December 2017. As of 28th of June 2020, over 7,000 HIV cases have been reported, with the majority still from informal settlements in Windhoek with 62% and Swakopmund with 21%. 65 deaths were reported, of which 26 are maternal deaths. To this end, they're improving the national preparedness and response capacity to contain infectious disease outbreaks and other drought-related public health events in Namibia project, worth close to $4 million Namibia dollars, was launched by the Embassy of Japan, the World Health Organization, and the Ministry of Health and Social Services at a ceremony held at the Namibian COVID-19 Communication Center. The project will be implemented in the Khomas, Irongo, Omusati, Ohangwena, Kavango East and West regions by WHO in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services for a duration of 12 months. Furthermore, the funding will strengthen the national and regional capacity, which are essential components required to implement effective response intervention. ERI is central when containing infectious diseases, particularly with the ongoing HIV.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of local comments from the hottest social media pages. Government has introduced new provisions in the state of emergency aimed at suppressing the exponential rise in COVID-19 cases and preventing the spread. In Karutura over the weekend, the law enforcement still came across incidents of non-compliance that led to a few arrests. Masule said that it seems Namibians want the law enforcement to babysit them like small children. Brenda applauded the men and women in uniform and said that she could not understand why some are still not complying. JMP said that he does not see the use of register books in big shops. Milinga said that he likes the awareness approach by the police before suspects are punished. Saltiel said anyone that does not want to comply should get a 2,000 Namibian dollar fine. Katima Mulilo residents are being forced to drink dirty water from a well as they have no means of accessing potable water. According to the residents, members from the town council are only allowing their relatives access to clean water. Chuck said the community could approach NamWater collectively for a water tank. Johan said when people fight for basic necessities, the police arrive in huge numbers, but not the same can be said when a crime is reported. Martin said this is really bad and a shame to the authorities. Aaron was moved by the plight of the community and said the leaders are not serious. While Nkala described this as deliberate inaction. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today and One.
We always love to hear from you. Send us your views, comments and videos with your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV, it just gets better. A look at the weather forecast. The Namibia interior sunny and mild to warm but hot in the north. The coast mostly sunny and warm to hot. The wind moderate to fresh northeasterly to southwesterly. Now we look at minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.